Emergence of anti-Semitism following the October 7 attacks on Israel by Hamas, which has prompted an uprising fighting the vile left-wing attacks against the Jews in Israel that we continue to see worldwide. Dubbed Never Again Is Now, a series of rallies in support of the Jewish community are set to be held across Australia. Tell us all about it is Director of the Centre for Youth Policy, Freya Leach. Freya, thanks for coming here on Outside. It's great
Thanks
to have
for having
you here.
me.
Our pleasure. Now, listen, before we get on to the Never Again rally, which is very important people go to, it's 2 weeks today, you were actually at the town hall the same night as those protests at the Opera House, Gas the Jews, Where's the Jews, F the Jews, Kill the Jews. What did you hear up at town hall?
Up at Town Hall, I heard a group of young men yelling, "Kill the Jews" and "F the Jews." My father, Mark Leach, was also there. He's an Anglican minister. And that's what prompted him to get out an Israeli flag and start waving it on the steps of the cathedral in his clerical shirt. A member of the protest then chased him, basically mobbed him. And one of them, we caught them on video, actually did this across his throat, threatening to slit his throat. And he was then chased up onto George Street and had to hide behind a police van. So while I wasn't quite,
Any arrests?
No, nothing.
So the man who threatened...
My father took it to the police. They investigated it, but they said that there wasn't enough to actually convict him or prosecute him of...
So we've had various stat decks of people saying they heard "Gas the Jews" at the Opera House. You heard "Kill the Jews." You heard "F the Jews." Someone went to your father holding an Israeli flag that they would slash his throat. Would you say that according to... what's the bloke's name again? The hard of hearing bloke at the New South Wales Deputy Commissioner, Mal Lanning. Would you say it was a friendly mob that was there? How would you have felt? Were you Jewish in that particular environment?
I mean, the evidence speaks for itself. It's not how you felt. It was the police's direction to Jews on that day. They said, stay out of the city because we cannot guarantee your safety. This is the police themselves saying this mob is so violent and so dangerous, we can't even guarantee your safety in your city 2 days after the worst massacre of Jewish people since the Holocaust.
Now, you've seen, sorry, James, Freya, you've seen that 47-minute footage that the Israeli government released, and this is Hamas's own footage of their own butchery. You showed your response on... We saw you on Instagram just after you'd seen it, and it was very moving. You were clearly traumatised. We won't ask you to go through that trauma again, but just tell us about what you saw.
I've never seen anything like it. It brings me to tears just thinking about it and recalling what I saw. This is a terrorist group that is sadistic. It is beyond evil. They managed to kill 1,200 innocent people in all different ways, burning families alive in their home, raping women, beheading people, parading their heads through the streets. You can't even make this stuff up. That is how horrific it is. And there are still hostages that are being held in Gaza. Now it's 120 days.
And Freya, let's be really clear then. That rally that you attended or you saw or were witness to at Town Hall, this was within 24, 48 hours of this occurring. This was in celebration of what those massacres you saw in Gaza, and you saw the video, which Hamas very politely took the footage of their own butchery so that it would be there for the world to see. There's no denying that. What was talk us through the mood, what you sort of saw, what was the vibe? Was it jubilant? Was it celebratory? Was it aggressive? Was it angry? What were the things that you saw, and who were the sorts of people who were leading this?
That rally on October 9th was celebrating, glorifying and justifying terrorism. That is what it was. They were celebrating on the steps of the Opera House when I was there in a very positive tone, happy at the resistance of the Palestinian people. We saw tweets. So I'm a student at Sydney University. The president of the NTEU, Nick Riemer, promoted the rally and said he has unconditional solidarity with the Gazan people on October 7. He was there when they were chanting "Gas the Jews." This rally was just despicable.
And so what I wanted to drill down into is this idea that, for the left, they hook on to this because they've adopted this sort of colonial decolonizer mindset. So any sort of psychosis can be excused under the excuse that, oh, well, it's resistance, it's legitimate, it's decolonizer.
Correct. Resistance is justified. That is the classic line. But rape is not resistance. Burning people alive is not resistance. Killing babies in their cots is not resistance. And I am terrified that we are at a point in Australia where people can take to the streets and openly celebrate it as resistance.
Rita?
And we've seen these rallies across Australian cities since then. Every weekend there was people in Melbourne chanting for Intifada at Flinders Street Station. Do you think this activism is largely born of ignorance? Do they even know what Intifada really represents? Or do they understand it and they still support it, which is even a scarier thought?
I pray that they do not actually know what they're chanting. Because if they did, they would be knowingly chanting for the genocide of Jewish people. From the river to the sea, that is a call for genocide. Intifada, that is a call for an uprising, a killing of innocent people. I pray they do not know what they're chanting, but I fear there are enough people organising these rallies that know exactly what is being chanted, but they are using the ignorant mob of social justice warriors that sip their soy lattes in Newtown to create this mass movement calling for genocide, and half of them probably don't even know what it is that they're chanting.
So do those images that you saw haunt you? Do you dream in nightmares or anything like that?
It's terrible. Like it is. I'm shaking now, remembering what we saw. Images you cannot even explain without bursting into tears. And the worst part is when I posted my reaction on Instagram, I had people commenting, crocodile tears, this is all made up, this didn't happen.
Okay.
And these people have been fooled. Hamas wants them to know it happened. They were the ones that filmed it. In the video, you can actually hear them saying, come over here, film this. They were posing. There were stunts. They said, make sure you send this back to the head office. You could hear people on their radio saying, send me the footage now, because they wanted to publicise it. But Australians must be so stupid if they think that this didn't happen. Hamas wants you to know it happened. That's why they filmed it.
Now, let's talk about what we wanted to publicise for people. February 18th, so 2 weeks today, Never Again rally, which you're involved with. Tell us what it stands for, what it means, and why it's so important. Correct.
This is a movement led by Christians and ordinary Australians to stand up and oppose the 738% increase in anti-Jewish hate that we've seen since October 7, and stand for our Judeo-Christian values of tolerance, love, and cohesion. That is what we are doing. And the event, where is it and what? It's going to be held in an iconic Sydney location. You'll have to register at the Humanitix link, but you can find more at neveragainisnow.com.au, February 18th, 3 p.m. in Sydney. Okay, and never again is, of course, the phrase that was used after the Holocaust. The world, the entire world, committed to never again will we allow a Holocaust to happen. Thank goodness you are putting on this demonstration and asking people to be involved, because we must show that never again means never again, and never again is now, and people have to stand up and say, we really support this, because no, never again must this be allowed to happen.
And let's hope New South Wales Police adequately protect these protesters, because we have seen in the past the counter-protest, and they can come there with very bad intentions.
Hear, hear. So let's... Thank you, Freya Leach, so much for coming on, and we'll speak to you again. Thank you very much. Thanks.
I'm Simon McFadden.